Long ago, when the plain surrounding Ferrara was a vast area of marshland, scattered with forests, small farming towns, and islands in the lagoon, the River Po ran to the south of the city. After it broke its banks at Ficarolo in 1152 AD, new branches of the river made their way to the north of Ferrara, towards the sea, changing the face of the landscape and undermining the city's role regarding river traffic in the Po Delta. Sailing on the waterways and wetlands was the easiest way to cross the territory. Rowing boats, barges, and other flat-bottom boats glided speedily across the waters, loaded with goods, connecting the city with the villages and agricultural farmlands. Pilgrims, merchants, nobles, and commoners traveled across the plain for business and trade, or to visit the religious centers, such as the Benedictine Abbey of Pomposa or the city manor, which was firmly in the hands of the Este family by the end of 1200, and who, over the next 3 centuries, made the territory the mirror of their own magnificence. If truth be told, the Estes had to work relentlessly in order to recover, maintain, and enhance their estates. Much of the land surrounding Ferrara was submerged by the waters of rivers that overflowed, or by the sea advancing due to subsidence, a natural phenomenon where the level of the land lowers, allowing seawater to flood in. Fresh and salt water mingled, forming a large swamp, which was difficult to cross and impossible to cultivate. Great activity was dedicated to building canals and levees and to reclaim land in a project that made history, the Ferrara Land Reclamation Plan. The importance of the project can be seen in some of the most important Este heraldic stems, the symbols of the lords and their government, depicting emblems of the reclamation, such as the unicorn purifying the marsh waters by immersing its horn and the wooden palisade used to support riverbanks. The Este spared no expense in this enterprise, using beauty and wonder as a powerful instrument of political amplification. The idea was to transform the area into a Garden of Eden, a paradise that charmed visitors with extraordinary palaces and gardens, but was built on an extremely rigorous structure, a system that coordinated the reclamation of productive farmland with the capillary control of the water network and the protection of large areas for fishing and hunting. Highly organized farms were the fundamental basis of this system. The originality of the Ferrara area is due in large part to the splendor of the Este villas distributed in the form of a network throughout the duchy, the Delights. Schifanoia, Belrirado, Diamantina and Mezzala are just some of the 52 residences built for a sophisticated itinerant court that spent many months of the year there. Built in the vicinity of rivers to allow the lords and ladies to reach them easily by boat, the Delights had to be able to accommodate the entire court and guests. That's why the main buildings were made up of a large number of rooms, frescoed by the studios of the most famous Renaissance artists. And then there were the reception rooms, halls and private rooms, terraces and porches for the summer, as well as the service rooms, the kitchens, the bakery, rooms for tableware and kitchenware, and the pantry. Around the court we find a chapel, the cellar, the supplies and treasurer's office, the butcher's, the kennel for the hunting dogs, the granary and the dovecote, the steward's house, stables and menageries for exotic animals. Finally, we come to the gardens, where architecture and botany are majestically combined, complete with orchards, hedgerows, fish ponds and fountains. No pleasure is omitted here, since they are like our prisoners in love's magic hall. They change their raiment twice or thrice a day, now for this use and now at another call. 'Tis often feast and always holiday, 'tis wrestling, tourney, pageant, bath and ball. Now underneath a hill by fountain cast, they read the amorous lays of ages past. In these elegant environments, the Este court and their important guests gathered to spend periods of time to escape from boredom, indulging in art, hunting and good food. Each of the Delights had a special feature. Borso d'Este commissioned the frescoes in the Hall of Months at Schifanoia Palace. Artists such as Francesco del Cossa and Ercole de Roberti painted the Olympian gods and the Lord of Ferrara positioned side by side on the walls, whilst in the background they recreated the atmosphere and activities of the court and agricultural work in the countryside. Duke Alfonso II built a castle in Mezzola together with a huge fenced game reserve, where he loved to go hunting deer, yearning for a city capable of competing against the trading power of Venice. The Verginese delight was a gift from Alfonso I to his last partner, Lara Dianti, mother of his 2 children and a woman of great culture, patroness of artists and writers. An orchard was created in the grounds of the Verginese, a Renaissance garden of fruit, trees, herbs and flowers, timeless in its beauty. Cardinal Ippolito d'Este called on the help of the architect Biagio Rossetti in the construction of Villa Mensa, which, in the centuries that followed, became the favorite residence of the bishops and papal legates. The Benvegnate Delight, commissioned by Borso d'Este, represented an important center of cultural development in the 16th century, thanks to the presence of writers and humanists of great renown. But perhaps it was the Bel Rivardo Delight, with its 300 rooms, the garden, courtyards and the antique villa-style architecture, which produced a greater impression on its guests. In its rooms, we can still admire the frescoes by the greatest artists of the court, such as the brothers Dosso and Battista Dossi. This great season of princely splendor came to an end with the death of Alfonso II in 1598, who left no direct male heir to continue the dynasty. The Este Duchy therefore became a property of the Papal States once more, and was administered by the Church for the following centuries, whilst the delights passed from owner to owner. Many of these have now disappeared, however. The Este Ducal residences in the Po Delta illustrate the influence of Renaissance culture on the natural landscape in an exceptional manner. The Po Delta is an outstanding planned cultural landscape that retains its original form to a remarkable extent. With these words that illustrate the acknowledgement on behalf of UNESCO, much of the territory of Ferrara was included in the World Heritage List in 1999, thereby complementing the first award made to the Historic Centre of Ferrara in 1995, which also emphasized the characteristics of the cultural landscape.